I enjoyed our time together today.
So did I.
If it's not too much of an inconvenience for you, would you like to grab dinner with me tomorrow too?
Yeah, I would love to.
That being said, I'm glad that even though our rank in the workplace is different, I'm glad that we can still have good conversations. It feels so easy talking to you.
I'm glad too. At first, I was a little anxious when I was told that I would be transferring here. It was a neighborhood I had never been to before. I didn't know anyone who worked at this branch either.
I've been known to be good at making friends around this neighborhood. The thing is, though, I was hoping to become your boyfriend instead of just being your friend. Is that okay with you?
Huh? I suppose that would be okay.
Really? So, does that mean you're accepting my confession?
Yes, it does.
In that case, starting from tomorrow, I'll start going to your apartment in the morning so that we can walk to work together.
Okay. Make sure to text me when you get here then.
That being said, seeing as though your rank isn't that high in the company, how can you afford to live in the apartment that you're at? You pay rent month to month, right? You didn't buy the place, did you?
I put a really big deposit down, so my monthly payments are pretty low.
Huh? You're really able to afford paying that much?
It's really not too terrible at all.
Huh. I guess your position earns a lot more money than I thought it did.
My parents also helped me out with the payments. It definitely made it easier.
Ah, I see. So, that's how it was. Anyways, I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning then.
Yeah. I'll see you then.
We finally agreed to get married. How does this ring look?
It's so pretty. I love it.
Really? Then I'll go ahead and buy it then.
Yeah. That being said, though, when did you say we were going to meet your parents again?
Oh yeah, I talked to my mom about that. I asked her what day would work for her to go see her, and she said that she was actually going to come here instead. She said that she should be able to get here sometime this week.
Oh, really? All right then. But also, it's my first time meeting with her. What kind of gift should I bring for her?
Don't worry about getting her a gift. My mom is really thrifty, so she doesn't worry about things like that.
But still, I feel like I should still get her one regardless. It's going to be my first time meeting her, and I want to make a good impression. If I show up empty-handed, imagine how that will look.
Will it really look that bad? Okay then, I guess in that case, just get her whatever you think will be best. I think that she'll enjoy whatever you get her. By the way, what did you say your parents do for work again?
Oh, I haven't told you yet?
Yeah, I've always been curious about that. You're able to make yearly payments on that apartment of yours, and you said that your parents helped you pay for a lot of it. If they're able to afford to help you pay for an apartment like that, I have to imagine that they have some pretty impressive jobs.
It's sort of a complicated thing to explain easily, but, they just run their own business. Nothing too special.
Oh, really? They run their own business? What kind of business do they run?
Again, it's nothing too special. They just make and sell their own kitchen utensils.
I see.
You said that your parents work in the industrial sector, right?
Yep, they sure do.
I see. That's so cool. All right, send a text to your mom when you can and ask her when this week would be a good time for us to go grab a meal together.
I will.
Mom, I think I'll be going to meet Brandon's parents this week.
Really? That quickly? What time next week?
I don't think we've decided on an exact date as of just yet. And what do you mean? It hasn't been that quick. Since we're getting married soon, we have to meet to discuss the wedding anyways.
I guess you were always the type of girl to want to stay on top of things like that. I really have been trying my best to not worry about this whole thing, but I do have to admit, this is making me a little bit worried as of late.
Jeez, Mom. Why are you such a worrywart all the time?
I'm just saying. It's been how long since you've met now? Maybe 4 months. Of course I would be worried if you get married this quickly.
That's why I told you not to, though. Choosing to get married was a decision that I made after spending a long time thinking and weighing my options. I already did enough worrying for the both of us before I said yes. You told me that you liked him when you guys met, too. We're both also making sure that we steadily save up our own separate savings, and it's coming along well for both of us.
That's what I'm saying.
All of those things are true while you guys are still dating. Marriage is a contract between two people. It's not something that you can do by yourself. Who knows what will change between you two once you're officially married? Yeah, I know. But I'm telling you that it's really okay. Don't worry too much. All right. I'm sorry. I'll try to stop myself from worrying. Just remember, since it's the first time you're meeting her, make sure not to go there empty-handed. Buy her something nice and start off on the right foot. Yeah, I understand.
Honey, my mom messaged me back and told me that Saturday would be a good day for us to meet. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Where are we going to meet? Do you want me to reserve a spot for us at a restaurant? I know of a good one that's right nearby.
Huh? A restaurant? Don't worry. We don't need a reservation.
Huh? Did you already make one?
No, nothing like that. My mom told me to meet her there.
Huh? Where's that?
It's the building for my mom and dad's company.
Huh? She wants us to meet at their company building?
Yep, my mom and dad are both busy all the time, so they just told us to meet them there instead.
In that case, why don't we just pick a different day in that case? We could meet them on a day that works better for their schedule. This is going to be the first time that I'm going to meet your parents. How could I meet them at their office? And to talk about our wedding, too. It just feels inappropriate for that sort of meeting.
What do you mean? It'll be fine.
No. Honey, I know how you feel, but I'm just saying. It feels like a bad place to have our first impression of each other. I want to be able to sit down and have a proper conversation with them and not feel rushed to end the conversation because they have to get back to work. Let's just meet them at a restaurant instead. I'll call and make a reservation really quick.
Really? All right, I suppose if you insist. I'll go ahead and call my mom and let her know. I'll see if they have any free time to reschedule.
Thank you, honey. And please word it to them in a way that they don't get upset. I'd hate for us to already be starting off on the wrong foot.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, Brandon. What's up? Do you think that it'd be possible for us to reschedule your meeting with Erica for another day? Erica said that she would really love it if we could have a sit down and have a proper talk at a restaurant. Huh? Why does she suddenly want to change everything? Meeting at our office would have been fine. Oh, she had just said that meeting at the office was a little bit uncomfortable for her. What? Why would meeting at our office be uncomfortable for her? Oh, you know how it is. She said that she knew of a good restaurant nearby that we could meet at, though. Do you two even have enough money left over to afford something like that? Find out what restaurant it is. I want to see how expensive it's going to be. We should just meet and talk here. We can just buy some meat from the store and cook it here. That would be fine as is. Why go through all the trouble? Why is she making such a big deal out of things? It's not that serious. Even so, she said that she's feeling really anxious since it's her first time meeting you two. It seems like she's really set on wanting to make a good first impression. What reason would she have to be worried? What do her parents do for work? I'm not sure. I wasn't able to get a very detailed answer out of her. She said that they sell something, or something like that. Huh? Do they run some sort of shop or something? Geez, this whole thing already doesn't sit right with me. Huh? How come? I mean, think about it. Those types of people are always trouble for people like us. You work at the same company, but your positions are completely different levels. So? What does that have to do with anything? What do you mean, what does that have to do with anything? Do you think someone in your position and someone in her position makes the same kind of money? Moreover, if her parents are just running some sort of rinky-dink little store, do you think her family is going to have any money? If you get married, one of the first things that you should find out is what her family is like. You're marrying them just as much as you're marrying her. What does it matter if her family has money or not? All that should matter is if I love her, right? Ugh, our son really has no idea how the world works. Your sister works at a bank and you're a high-ranking employee in your company. You need to be careful. Her family could just be taking advantage of how successful we are and might be trying to mooch off of us. Come on, Mom. I'm telling you it's not like that. Don't worry so much. Also, you won't know what kind of person she is until you actually meet her face to face, right? Don't jump the gun too much. They could go really well. Ugh. What's her phone number? Send it to me. Why do you need her number? You don't need to know. Don't worry about it and just send it to me. All right. Here's Erica's number. Do I have the pleasure of speaking to Erica?
Yes. May I ask who I'm speaking to?
This is Brandon's mother.
Oh, hello. How did you find my phone number?
I asked Brandon for it.
Oh, okay. What may I do for you, ma'am?
Don't tell Brandon that I reached out to you.
Huh? Oh, all right.
It's nothing too big. I just wanted to get some information from you before we meet.
What kind of information would you like to know?
Well, don't you think that it would be better for us to meet and have a conversation if we can go into it having some info already established, rather than not knowing anything about each other at all?
Yes, I suppose you're right about that. Please ask anything you'd like to know about, ma'am.
Brandon told me that your parents run a little shop by themselves. By any chance, have they earned a lot of money from it? Do they have a lot of money saved up?
Huh? What are you asking about that for?
How much money do they have saved up? Give me a rough number.
Do I really have to tell you something personal like that?
Of course you do! I'm going to be the person that decides whether or not the two of you can be married. You're going to need my blessing, aren't you? Don't tell me. You're just counting on Brandon to provide everything for you and don't have anything saved up. Do you know what kind of family ours is?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Brandon just told me that you work at an industrial company.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. Brandon is a successful and accomplished worker at his company, and our daughter is a banker at a very high-end bank.
I see. That being said, I'm not really sure what that has to do with our marriage.
I'll speak honestly with you. If someone were to marry into this family, we have enough money saved up that you wouldn't need to rely on your own money. That's how much we earn. But it's also not like we're going to let just anyone into this family. That being said, give me a rough guess of about how much your family has saved.
I'm very sorry, but I haven't married into your family yet. I'm also not desperate to leech off of someone else's family either. I don't think it's appropriate for me to tell you how much my family earns or how much money we have saved. You're asking a little bit too much from me. That being said, I can tell you that even though it isn't much, we have more than enough to be able to afford this wedding. So please don't worry too much, ma'am.
It seems like my words aren't getting through to you.
Huh?
Forget it.
When we meet each other this weekend, let's sit down and have a proper conversation about all of this, okay? We haven't even had a chance to meet face to face yet. Discussing financial assets as our first conversation, and especially through the phone, is a little uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean?
Jeez, I've never met a woman as stubborn as you. All right, let's discuss it when we see each other then. I'll see you this weekend. Brandon, give me Erica's social security number. Why would you need her social security number? She isn't telling you how much is in her bank account, right? And why is that important? What do you think? How are you going to know if she's some viper trying to coil herself around you and drain you for everything you have if you don't know the tiniest little thing about her in the first place? Come on, stop with all that stealing from us nonsense. I already told you she's not like that. She could ruin you financially if this turns out badly. Do you realize that? I've heard stories of stuff like that happening all the time these days. Really? Stop being so foolish and give me her social security number already. I don't know about this.
Your mom just contacted me a little while ago. She kept asking me how much money my family has saved up.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that a really inappropriate thing to do? To ask someone about how much they and their family earn, or how much they have saved before they've even talked with the person face to face?
I mean, what can you do? You're about to become her future daughter-in-law, so I guess it's not entirely out of the question to ask about things like that.
What? I've never in my whole life heard of the bride being required to tell her future in-laws something like that.
Are you overreacting a little bit too much, honey? If you want to, she's more than welcome to take a look at my bank account if she wanted to.
Of course you would let her take a look at your bank account anytime she wants to. She's your mother. She's not mine, though. Tell me honestly, does your mom not like me or something?
She's just trying to make sure that she protects the family by making sure that she knows who her future daughter-in-law is going to be. It's not entirely out of the question for her to ask you questions like that.
No matter how you look at it, though, that just feels like she's going too far.
You're right. I can understand why you'd be uncomfortable about her asking info like that right off the bat. By the way, what's your social security number again?
Huh? Why are you asking about something like that all of a sudden?
Oh, I was just wondering. We're about to be a married couple soon. I just figured it's one of those things that it would be good to know.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. It's...
Thanks for letting me know, honey. Also, honey, don't worry about my mother too much. This weekend, once we meet with my mom, things will get better between you two.
Right? I sure hope it does. It already feels awkward between us. All right, I'll take your word for it and not worry too much then.
Answer my call already, Erica. How could you just walk out in the middle of dinner like that? Are you really lacking basic manners that much? You really messed up.
Huh? I messed up? Who is the one that really messed up just now? Meeting at your parents' office? That's unacceptable. No matter how you look at it, that's not where we should have gone to meet your parents in the first place. And on top of that, you wanted to have dinner there? In that filthy place? What's worse, the only food there to eat was what your parents had left over from their dinner last night. How could you expect me to eat that?
What was so bad about that? That was a meal that my mother made herself.
It was leftover soup! Do you think that was a proper welcome for meeting their future daughter-in-law?
It's not like it wasn't delicious.
If it was that good, then help yourself to it.
You're a real piece of work. Really? Am I really the one that's a piece of work in this situation? Listen, I can understand if you didn't want to eat her food. I get it. But how could you just leave in the middle of the wedding discussion with my parents? Who does that?
I left because of the food. Your mother told me to eat their leftover soup. She kept saying it was a waste of their money to go to a restaurant and have a meal there instead.
Is it not? What's the problem with her saying that?
If this is the kind of welcome that I get from our very first meeting, then what is the rest of our marriage going to be like? At this point, I don't even want to get married anymore.
So what are you saying then? Are you telling me that you're going to cancel our engagement?
I need some time alone to think about all of this. It would be better if we spent some time apart. I'll talk to you later.
Hey! Brandon told me you were planning on calling off the engagement.
Didn't I tell you that I needed some time to think? Why did you try and get your mother to come after me like this?
You were the one who decided we should spend time apart and not talk to each other without even asking me how I felt.
I can't stand people like you.
Where do you get off asking for an annulment of your engagement? We should be the ones who get to decide that. How dare you do that to our poor son?
Did you seriously message me just to talk about that?
Of course! I'm so disgusted by how you've acted. Especially with us not even knowing a thing about you. What reason did you even have for getting married to Brandon? What were you scheming?
What are you trying to say to me right now?
You told me that you had plenty of money saved up. I looked into it and I found out that you don't have a single cent. What kind of heist were you planning on our family? You're nothing but a thief.
Seriously, what are you even talking about?
Seriously, $500? You only barely scraped together $500, yet you kept telling me not to worry and that you had plenty saved up. What the hell? Is that true?
How the hell did you get access to my bank account info?
A little snake like you with not even a single cent to her name is trying to marry my son. Ha! You must be joking. I asked you how you got access to my bank account details. I asked our daughter to look into it for me.
Your daughter who's working at the bank?
Exactly. I had to do something that drastic because you kept refusing to tell me how much you had saved. Erica, how could you do this to me? No matter how you look at it, the situation seems clear. I would understand if you didn't have a ton of money saved, but only $500 is way too severe. Did you plan to just send all your bills to me once we got married or something?
What are you talking about? You were the one who asked me if I wanted to get married in the first place. Not to mention, what your mother did is a crime.
What? Why are you talking about committing a crime? All I did was ask our daughter to do me a favor and take a peek at your balance.
It's not like you asked her to take a look at your own bank account. You asked her to look at mine. You obtained that information without my permission. I was curious as to why you would have asked for my social security number all of a sudden. So I suppose you knew about her doing this the entire time then?
So what if I knew? What does that change about what's going on right now? You tried to get married to me just so that you could send all of your bills to me and have me front the cost for everything.
Are you trying to say that I have no money?
Then are you trying to tell me that having $500 is you having a lot of money? You tried to enter our family in the most vulgar way possible. You're telling me that you weren't paying rent. You own the apartment fully.
I was intending on staying silent about this to whoever I dated because I didn't want some dirt-poor, money-hungry family to get all twisted about the amount of money I had. Seems like people like you will get themselves twisted up over money regardless of whether they know anything or not.
Huh? What did you just say? Dirt poor. Money hungry. Are you finished babbling on yet?
No, not even close. Do you understand how much my house sells for?
So you own your tiny little apartment. So what? Does that really make you better than us? Brandon told me that your parents own some small little shop and sell kitchen utensils. How can you even begin to compare your family to ours? You're even a lower position at a company than Brandon is. Our daughter is a banker.
Ah, is that what he told you about my family? This is my family's business.
Isn't that a really famous company? Stop lying to us!
Who the hell keeps all of their money in a bank account nowadays? You need to invest.
Erica.
I kept all of this a secret because of how many people have gone after me just to try and get their hands on my family's money. I can't believe this happened to me once again. I really have the worst eye for people.
Erica, I was a bit too harsh, wasn't I? I just got sort of heated up in the moment. You know that, right?
Are you serious? You're aware that accessing my bank account information through your daughter is illegal, right? You told me that your perfect daughter that you love so much and who is so famous at that bank she works at personally helped you get access. I guess we'll see how famous she is at that bank once she gets fired.
I'm sorry, Erica. I must have lost my mind for a little while there. I did something that's so unlike myself. I apologize. Please accept my apology. Honey, I'm sorry too. I seriously must have lost my mind. How could I have ever doubted you?
Just stop talking. I don't want to hear it. I understand what you and your family are both like now deep down. I don't think I have anything to consider or think about anymore. I'm canceling the engagement. I never want to see you again.
No, please.
Also, since I will be filing a lawsuit against you for going through my bank account like it was yours to begin with, I would hire a lawyer. Look forward to the trial.
I made a grave error in judgment, Erica. Please, I'm begging you, just don't report us to the authorities. Please.
I don't really feel like it, though. Why would I owe either of you any favors? I will be reporting it immediately tomorrow morning, so look out for the papers my lawyer will be serving both of you with.
Damn it! This is all your fault, Mom! Oh no! I seriously messed up! How could I have done something like that?
As you may have guessed, I called off the engagement after that. I have filed a suit against him and his mother for illegally gaining access to my bank account. Brandon kept showing up to my apartment telling me how sorry he was and that he lost sight of what truly mattered to him for a while. But by that point, I had already moved. If he continues to try and find me, I plan on reporting him and filing a restraining order. That being said, I think I'm better off in the long run for getting rid of them before they were able to latch themselves onto my family. My life would have been a living hell if I had to spend the rest of my life married into a family like that. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.
Hey, Maeve, let's have steak for dinner today.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? Did I hear you right? Did you really say steak?
That's right, I said steak. I was talking to the neighborhood ladies the other day, and they were saying that it's nice to be treated to steak every now and again. Apparently, their daughters-in-law and sons-in-law are always going out of their way to treat them to this or that. It seems that you need to step up your game, Maeve. Next to them, I had nothing to brag about because you never go out of your way to do anything nice to me. So I thought to myself, why don't I go and get my daughter-in-law to treat me to some nice steak? There's that nice butcher's opposite your house, isn't there? I heard that their steak is particularly good. Go and ask for their highest quality beef steak and bring it over to my place. Then you can cook it for us and we can have a nice family feast.
Why are you asking for the highest quality steak all of a sudden? Do you have any idea how much that is going to cost? I think it will be a little difficult for us to afford that on a whim in our current financial situation. We're not in a position to just randomly splurge whenever we want to. We need to stick to a strict budget, and this is very much out of budget.
Oh, just go ahead and buy it for me already. Why are you talking so much? I'm sure you're exaggerating. It's not going to be that expensive. Let's see. So, I'll invite you and my son and my daughter and her husband over, so I suppose you can get enough to serve 8 people. That should be enough, I think.
I'm sorry, what? Why on earth would I get steak for 8 people when there's only going to be 5 of us eating? That doesn't make any sense. And besides, you know that my husband and I are struggling at the moment. If I spend that much at once, I'll have to tighten my belt for the rest of the month.
Stop making excuses and just do as I say. Now hurry up and go and buy it. I'll be waiting here for you. Well, I suppose I should be happy that you at least went and bought them for me, but why are you so stingy? You really went and scrimped as much as you possibly could, huh?
But I went and bought the exact expensive high-quality steak you asked for. What are you complaining about now?
When I asked you to get 8 people's worth of steak, I didn't actually expect you to come back with just 8 people's worth. You should have read the room and come back with at least enough to feed 10 people.
So, are you not full after eating all that? Why would you say something like that after it's obvious that you enjoyed the meal? It just caught me off guard a little to hear that you were still dissatisfied after I did exactly what you told me to do. There's no way the 5 of us would be able to finish enough steak for 10 people.
It's not like you don't have money, so I don't get why you're being so tight-fisted.
I really don't understand what's gotten into you today, Lois. You know that my husband and I are struggling because we both had to build up everything we have from scratch without receiving any help at all. We have had to make every penny count for the past few years, so I don't know why you keep saying that you think I have money when I really don't.
Well, my philosophy is that life is too short to not always be eating the tastiest thing available. Is it really that bad of me to want to eat something nice every now and again? Or are you going to deny me even that pleasure? Are you going to make me feel guilty just for wanting to enjoy my food? Do you think that spending a little money on your mother-in-law is that much of a waste? Do you just want to keep all of your money to yourself? Is that it?
No, Lois, you know that's not the case.
Everyone in the neighborhood, listen up. This daughter-in-law of mine is trying to starve me to death. Everyone, come and look at how badly she's been mistreating me.
Lois, you know I would never do anything like that.
Whatever. I thought you were economically savvy and had a good head on those shoulders, but it turns out I was completely wrong about you. Now you're just showing me your true colors. Now I can see how petty you are. You think that when people get old, they should just crawl into a corner and die, don't you? I really misjudged your character, you know. You've let me down a lot, Maeve.
Seriously, I can't believe this.
Honey, have you patched things up with my mom yet?
I told her that I was sorry and I bought her some homemade cookies as a peace offering. Thankfully, she seemed to accept my apology.
This is why you should have just done as my mom said in the first place. There was no need for you to be so stubborn.
You as well? What has gotten into people in your family these days?
Whatever, it's all in the past now. By the way, have you gone to see my sister's cafe yet?
Yeah, I went over the other day. I thought she was wanting to go for somewhere big, so to be honest, it was much smaller than I had expected. I think your mom was also a little disappointed with the size of it.
Yeah, you're right. It is a little small. I know it would be better for her to get a bigger premises, but that was all she could afford. I'm a little worried that things are going to be hard for her from the outset.
And why is that any of my concern?
What's gotten into you? I'm just telling my wife about my family problems. Am I not allowed to do that?
Fine, sorry. Go ahead and say whatever it was you wanted to say.
It looks like she's going to need to do some expansion work to make it into a workable place. But in order to do that, she's going to need some money.
Again, I don't know why you're bringing this whole money thing up with me.
She'll need about $40,000, I reckon. Would you be able to lend that to her?
Why do you and your mom both keep asking me about money? Do you really think that I have $40,000 right now?
We're family. There's no need to be so stingy. Don't tell me you're saying you couldn't trust a family member to pay you back. As soon as business starts to go well for her, she'll pay you back straight away.
It's hard enough for just you and I to get by with our combined salaries. And we still haven't paid off the house or the loans we took out in order to finance the wedding. Do you not realize the severity of our financial situation right now?
Are you really going to make me say it? You have money, and I know it. My mom saw that you have an extra bank account with a load of money in it. Mom, tell Maeve about what you saw on her laptop that time. She keeps playing dumb and it's getting really annoying now.
What exactly did you see, Lois?
Well, when I was at your house the other week, I caught a glimpse of your laptop open on the kitchen table and your online banking page was open. It showed that you had an account separate from your regular one with more than $40,000 in it. Why have you been hiding that money from us, your family? I feel as it's only right for you to use that money to help out my daughter in her time of need.
Do you even know what that money is, Lois? It's the money from the savings account I opened as soon as I got a job. It's money that I've been diligently saving for a long time. Are you really expecting me to just give it all away for free?
Of course not. It would just be a loan. Don't tell me that you don't think my daughter is going to pay it back to you. She would pay you back generously, even including interest if she has to.
Well, that would only be if her business goes well, which we can't be sure about at this moment of time. Why would I lend such a huge amount of money to invest in a business that may or may not fail?
The more I listen to you, the more I think you're being a little too harsh here. Are you saying that you think my sister isn't capable of running a business well?
I am not saying that she isn't capable. I'm just saying that she's never tried to run her own business before, and these things are also often dependent on external factors. So we have no idea whether things are going to work out for her or not. It's important to always consider the worst case scenario in these situations and try not to be too optimistic. On the off chance that her business does fail and she can't pay me back my money, then what? That would be me just throwing away $40,000, wouldn't it?
That is really mean of you to say, you know. You basically just outright called my sister a scammer.
Oh dear. Money is a terrifying thing. It can tear families apart and make them think all sorts about each other.
I have worked really hard over the years to save this money, you know. I was planning on investing it when I felt the time was right. And as for you, Flynn, you should have been saving money as soon as you started working full-time as well. How come you don't have any savings? It's not my fault that I made better financial decisions than you. Why are you coveting my hard-earned cash instead?
Why are you drawing such a definitive line between my property and yours? We're family now, are we not? I thought when we got married, we basically agreed that what's yours is mine.
That's right. When a woman gets married, she should be prepared to invest all of her money in her new family. Quite frankly, it's disgraceful for you to behave like this towards your own husband.
I'm sorry, Lois, but I don't have any intention of lending that money to anyone, and I'm not obliged to lend it to anyone, family or otherwise.
Here we are, having swallowed our pride to ask you for this money, and you're acting like the world revolves around you just because you have a little money to your name.
I don't think you have the right to say that to me when you're the ones trying to force me into giving you that little money.
Are you really gonna insist on acting like this? You'd better tell my mom that you're gonna lend her that money right this instant.
Do you really think this is the way to get me to lend you the money? With every single word that comes out of your mouths, I become less and less inclined to want to give you anything. You're just straight up asking for my money, aren't you? How is this any different from daylight robbery?
What? How dare you accuse us of such a thing? You are so obsessed with money that you've clearly forgotten about your sense of duty to the family. Don't you ever think about seeing me ever again. Are you crazy? How dare you talk to my mom like that?
How dare you talk to me like this? Since when was this how you treated your wife?
You're the one who needs to watch how you talk to both me and my mom.
I really don't know what possessed me to choose someone like you as my husband. The way you're acting right now has left me speechless. Now, let me ask you, what on earth makes you so confident that you have the right to ask for my money like that?
How many times do I need to explain to you that I'm not asking you to give my sister the money? I'm asking you to lend it to her. And don't even get me started on everything I have to say about you keeping that money hidden away from me. We are a married couple. We shouldn't be keeping big secrets like that from each other. Why didn't you tell me about that money? You just wanted a slush fund for yourself, didn't you? Be honest with me.
A slush fund? Now, what exactly do you take me for? Of course, I thought about telling you. You are my husband at the end of the day. I was actually planning on telling you about it and what my intentions were this week, but the reason that I kept it from you was because knowing you and that personality of yours, you would just go and blow all the money on something useless instead of saving it for our future. I want to invest the money I've saved and pay back our debt so we can move into a bigger house. We've been putting off trying for a baby because of money issues as well, haven't we? But instead, you want to give all of that money to your sister? And I know that your mom is also thinking about what she could do if she got her hands on the money as well. She's acting so entitled to it that anyone would think that it was her money and not mine.
I suppose you don't even understand because you don't have kids of your own yet. But my mom is just looking out for her daughter. That's why she has been acting like this. Why is it so hard for you to understand that? My sister has already hired the contractors, and they've already started knocking down walls for the expansion to take place. It won't be that long until they start asking for their payment. Are you really gonna leave her in the lurch right now?
What? Things have already gone that far?
Yep, that's right. Hearing that makes you think that you should really help out ASAP, right?
Of course not. You are obviously completely out of your mind. I never once said that I was going to lend her the money, did I? And yet she's already started on everything based on the assumption that she's going to be able to use my money? I can't believe the audacity of you all. Every single one of your family members are shamefully audacious.
Hey, that is not very nice.
Well, you haven't been very nice to me either, have you? What on earth makes you think that anything about this situation is okay? Oh, actually, I can't think of one way to help your sister out, actually.
What? What is it?
Your car is still in pretty good condition, isn't it? How about we just sell your car and then you can give your sister that money to help her out with her business? Or is it suddenly different when you're the one person losing out in this situation? How does it feel to have to make sacrifices to help your sister out? Not good, huh? So, stop asking me to make sacrifices for your family when you're not willing to make them yourself. Or we can just terminate this rental contract and give her the money we would get back from the deposit.
And then you would use the money that you have to get us a new place, right?
Of course not. I would take it with me and go far, far away from you.
What? Are you saying that you're planning on divorcing me?
I am not going to give your sister a single penny of my money, and that's final. If you don't want to use either of the methods I just suggested to get her the money, you'll have to go and think of something else by yourself. But to be honest, your sister's cafe isn't in a good location, and I do not have confidence in her management skills. Why is she going ahead with this renovation when she neither has the money to afford it nor the skills to make sure that her business does well?
You really are going a little too far now.
What is going on here? Can you explain to me why I came home from work to find that the whole house is a mess? And why is all of your mom's stuff at her house mixed in with all our stuff? Your mom isn't even here and she won't pick up my calls, so you'd better explain to me what's going on here.
Oh, my mom put her house up for sale. She's gonna be living with us from now on.
What? Your mom put her house up for sale and now she's coming to live in our house?
Yeah. You should be grateful that she agreed to take the spare room and that she's not expecting us to vacate the master bedroom for her.
I really can't believe this. What on earth do you think you're playing at here?
You told me to find some other way to help my sister, so I did. If my mom sells her house and moves in with us, she can give the money from the house sale to my sister to help her with her business. And then when my sister starts earning good money, she'll pay my mom back and she'll be able to move into her own place again. My mom has been really lonely since we all moved out. It'll be really nice for her to spend some time with you. You can use this as an opportunity to really bond with her.
If you were planning on doing something like this, shouldn't you have at least discussed it with me first?
If I had told you in advance, would you have agreed to this? Of course you wouldn't have. That's why I didn't tell you in advance. I didn't want to give you the chance to disagree and kick up a fuss. Anyway, there's not much you can do about any of this now, so you might as well just start adjusting to our new situation. You'd better go out of your way to be nice to my mom, because she's really disappointed with the way that you've been behaving. Oh, and by the way, I'm going on a business trip as of today. I'll be gone for 3 days, so you'd better use that time to sort out all of my mom's stuff and make her feel at home.
Is this really happening right now? Have you actually gone crazy?
Well, this would never have happened if you had just lent my sister the money in the first place. You're the one who forced us all into this situation. Remember that.
We'll talk about this again when you get back. Your mom is here now.
Is everything okay, Maeve? What was that noise I heard when we were talking on the phone before you hung up all of a sudden? I thought I heard Lois's voice just before you hung up, and it seemed like she was cursing you out.
Wait a second, Mom.
What's happening? What's going on here?
When I got home from work today, all of Lois's stuff was in our house. When I asked my husband about it, he told me that she had put her house up for sale and that she would be living with us from now on.
What on earth? And they just decided that by themselves without even consulting you about it?
Yes, that's right. And it was Lois that you heard yelling at me earlier. She came in and started shouting that I needed to stop what I was doing and unpack her stuff for her straight away.
How dare she talk like that to my precious daughter? To be honest, I was a little uncomfortable when she said you two needed to make sure to find a house close to her place, and sure enough, my intuition was right. I think she's been planning to move in with you guys for a long time.
No, that's not it. This all happened because they asked me to lend my sister-in-law some money and I refused.
What? Money? But you don't have any money in the first place.
Well, the truth is that I've been secretly saving some money in a separate account and I have around $40,000 put away. They found out about it and they wanted me to lend the money to my sister-in-law so she could do some expansion work on her new cafe.
Well, they can't do that. Why would they lend money to someone in such a precarious situation like that?
Well, because I wouldn't give it to them, Lois put her own house up for sale to get the money to help out with the cafe, and now she's come to live with us.
And what did your husband have to say about this?
He's just a as bad as the two of them. He said that when a woman gets married, her money is essentially considered her in-laws' property, and I should just give it to them without complaint.
You remember that your dad and I said that we would pay for your house and car when you got married, right? But your husband was strongly against the idea, wasn't he? Why do you think that was? It was because he didn't want to feel like we had some kind of advantage over him, I think. I will not stand to see my daughter treated like this by anyone. I'll call the moving company right now to come and pick up all your stuff, and they'll take everything that you paid for, since he insisted on going 50-50 on everything.
Wait, what? Right now? Will they still be open at this time?
It's okay. Your dad is friends with the guy who runs the place, so he'll make an exception for you. Just grab all your clothes and shove them in a suitcase, and they will take care of the rest.
Mom, really, it's fine. I can sort this out by myself. I am going to divorce him.
You've always been very independent, and you've always rejected my offers to help you out, but this time I'm not going to let you do this by yourself. I need to see that despicable husband of yours and his mother knocked off their high horses immediately. Gather up all your valuables and get ready for the movers to come. I'll send your brother around too, so that Lois will be too intimidated to try anything, even if she wants to. And make sure you record every single thing she says if she starts cursing you out again, okay?
Thank you so much, Mom.
Have you gone mad? My mom said that a bunch of movers showed up and started taking stuff out of our house. What on earth is going on right now? I am canceling this business trip and coming home right this instant. So you'd better be there waiting for me. Don't you dare go anywhere. And don't you dare move any more stuff. What do you think you're doing, Maeve? What have you done to my poor mom? She just called me crying, saying that a bunch of strangers stole a bunch of her stuff and took it out of the house.
I'm busy, so can we just talk about this later? And both of you should stop making such a fuss. All I've done is take back the gifts I bought her over the years. The way you're talking, anyone would think that I'd gone and stolen all your mom's stuff.
You'd better tell these movers to stop what they're doing right now and bring everything back. Or at least tell them to wait until the morning. Why didn't you tell me that you were planning to do this?
Well, if I told you what was happening, you would have rushed over immediately and tried to stop me, wouldn't you? Just like you did with your mom moving in here. I decided not to tell you because I knew you would be against it. I'm sure you know what I'm going to say next, but I'm going to say it anyway. I am going to be filing for divorce, and I'm going to be cutting you off nice and cleanly. I wash my hands of both of you and your family, so now both your mom and your sister are your responsibility, and your responsibility alone.
Well, then you should have at least left the aircon behind when you leave. How can we survive without the aircon in the stifling summer heat?
Well, I clearly know what your priorities are, considering that the aircon is the first thing you considered. I've always been very independent, and I moved out of my parents' house as soon as I started college and started to live off my own money. I never once asked my parents for help or money, and I got used to living like that, but this time I was happy to accept their help and get myself out of this hellish situation. My parents have been very supportive of me since the divorce, and now I'm in Australia studying a master's in my dream subject. Oh, and after I filed for divorce, my husband actually came and apologized to me, admitting that everything he did to me was wrong. He even got down on his knees and started begging me for forgiveness. I wondered why he had a sudden change of heart, and after digging into it a little, I realized why he had done a complete 180 like that. It turns out that my instincts was right, and that his sister was in fact incapable of running a cafe, and she went out of business as fast as she had set it up. They kept using the excuse that it's still not easy for businesses to thrive in the current economic climate after the pandemic, but I think it's just because she was incredibly underprepared. Oh, and it turns out that my mother-in-law's house that she put up for sale in order to help out her daughter had decreased drastically in value, and it was only worth a quarter of the price she bought it for. Meanwhile, the house my parents helped get me after the divorce is already worth 7 times what it was at the time of purchase, so it looks like I'm set for the future. I'm still young, and thankfully I didn't have any children with my scumbag of an ex-husband, so I'm looking forward to building a new life with the right person one day. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.